Here I am in Muscat, Oman. It's so warm, so pretty. Yeah, just magnificent. Just at the bay here. In those mountains over there, those mountains just look absolutely fantastic. Yeah, first day, having a bit of a reconnaissance, having a little round. Yeah, so here we go. In a fish market, it's packed and it stinks. Well, I just visited this amazing sinkhole, Main Highway, and yeah, quite incredible as you can see. Water is so clear, you swim in it, believe it or not. There's a bunch of Hungarians down there having a dip. Found them everywhere, like us Aussies. Driving this little village. My goodness, tight roads, coffee shop, goats on the road. G'day mate, there you going? Well, on the walk to the Wadi Shub. These gorges are just absolutely amazing. The mountains, never seen anything like it. The palms here in the wadis or the valley, just spectacular. The sheer size of this canyon is just huge. It's a fair hike too, pretty rocky. Yeah, but absolutely unbelievable. It is. Yeah, it's amazing. It's just humongous. Driving in this gully at the moment. Oh, this gorge is called Gol Wadi, and it's the first time I've had to stick it in four-wheel drive. Which steep, very soft parts, but it's just magnificent. I've never seen anything like this. This is just, oh wow, what a drive. Off-roading, and the scenery is just, oh man, it's just amazing. Wow, this is wild driving here. This gorge is just unbelievable. Gul Gorge. This is like, I've never been anything like this before. This is just, the roads amazing, well, sort of. The scenery is just like I've never seen before. This is like an Indiana Jones movie or something like that, or something you'll see on one of the early Star Wars movie. It's quite amazing. And a review of the resort. Well, if you call it a resort. Update my video diary. Today, Monday. No, Sunday, 5th of November. That's right. I don't know where I am. In Oman, up at a place called Sema Heights Resort, just near the Jebel Shams mountain range. Be heading up around there tomorrow to get to the actual top of the mountain. It's about a 12-hour hike. Apparently it's really steep, takes long, and most people recommend that you hike it and take 2 days, a day there and a day back. I don't think I'm going to do that, not by myself, so maybe for another day, maybe. But in the meantime, there's heaps to see, and you can see the mountain from a distance. And there's a few other bits and pieces to look around. Now today, as we drove up from Muscat to here, the scenery in the mountains were just absolutely magnificent. It was just amazing. An Omani wild waddy lemon. Look at that. It's just a tiny little thing. I'm going to have a bit of it with my water later on and see what it's like. So there you go. So anyway, we saw this 200-year-old mosque that was in the gorge there, in a couple of little houses that people lived there. And there was one guy that that came and introduced himself. That was it looks like he was working on some trees, or I don't know, his little garden there, or whatever. And it's one of those really old looking Arabs or Omanis, I don't know, but just a lovely gentleman comes down, and he indicates he wants to do or give us something, and brings out an Omani coffee, and says he wants to share his coffee with us. So the guide, obviously interpreting and everything, and his name is Salam, and he says he would like to share coffee. So we sat down there on the rocks next to the cliff, and he brought out his coffee, and we had this lovely coffee, and the coffee was really different. It kind of tasted coffee, but it was, anyway, I gave it a go, and it was lovely. And he brought out the dates, and he gave us dates, and I don't know, he would have been 70 plus, this guy, but just welcoming and happy to be, just happy that we're there, and generous, just simply marvellous. Anyway, so drove back out, and then started to climb up the mountain, and ended up here at Sama. Yeah, so we're going to have some dinner soon. Apparently 7 o'clock is dinner. Yeah, there you go. That's today. Monday morning, gone for a little hike up this hill, just close to the camp, and just beautiful views from here. Beautiful, lovely morning, sun's out, not a cloud in the sky. Cool, which is just so refreshing compared to the heat and humidity in Muscat. But yeah, beautiful. Yeah. What an amazing view. It is a massive canyon. We're about 1,900 meters above sea level. And it's just huge. The drops are sheer, just massive. Just passing through a little mountain village. Crud, whatever it's Crib, whatever it's called. You can see why they say don't camp in the waddies. If it rains, think about the volume of water that's going to come down into that. Huge. Okay, now that is Jebel Shams, which is the highest mountain in this Arabian Peninsula, 3,007 meters high. Now on top of it is a Oman military base. Now the military base is situated on the top of the highest mountain in Oman. Now that is keeping a lookout for just in case. This is the walking trek along the upper part of the canyon. You're most probably a fair bit down from it, but It's rocky, steep in some places, easy in other places, but pretty full on in others. But yeah, the views unmistakably just magnificent. Look at that feed, mate. Is that good? Now, listen to this rock. It's really weird. Well, this is my camp spot for the tonight. Right on the, well, close to the edge of this canyon. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Can't even start to explain where it is, but I'm camped at a roadside in the mountains. Looks like a bit of roadworks going on, I'm not too sure. But in the background, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a little community must be up there, and I can hear, must be the Muslim prayer time, 5:30, and you can hear the guy crying out, praying. You can see a couple of little houses on the side of the hills up there, but yeah, a couple of young blokes came by. One tried to converse with me, not too sure. So yeah, interesting. Couldn't understand a word he was saying. He just looked at me and said, what a stupid idiot. Looks at my tent, goes, looks at my car, looks inside, and he's going, you know. So I'm just going, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, he must be going back to the community and having a good old laugh about this white bloke out there in a little tent on the side of the road. Oh well, see what happens. Now, I believe from my book that I bought, there is a camp spot, but it is quite a number of k's down the road, and it was getting dark, and not knowing the area, trying to find the camp spot in the dark, the lights on that Bajura are useless. I just thought, I've got to set up camp. Yeah, so I did where I could. Been strange. It's been a big day on the road. I'm not going to get to all the places I want to get to. It's just impossible, just the sheer distances and trying to work out, you know, where to go and, you know, and all that sort of stuff. Just today, even, you know, to find an ATM in this town that I was in, it was a town called Nizwa, and mate, it took me half an hour, and it's only a small town. I'm thinking, I bet they don't have an ATM, they don't even have a bank. I finally found the bank. I thought, oh god, a bank, and there's an ATM. Unbelievable. Funny, as soon as I saw the ATM, got some cash out, I saw two other ATMs straight away. I'm going, oh, typical. But in that time, I most probably lost. I picked up something dodgy in a cafe. It looked like a normal, decent cafe, but it wasn't. I had a chicken roll sandwich. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I'm still here. So that took up at least an hour just to get that done. I'm now between a town called Ibra and Quahut, crossing the mountains from inland to the coast. So tomorrow night, if I survive tonight, I should be camping on the coast. Pretty little section here. The road is simply amazing. I'm just over 2,000 meters above sea level, and a bit windy. A lot cooler up here. It's only about 20 degrees. Yesterday, driving down the flats, was about 34. But That's the view we've got in the background. Magnificent view of the gorge, but this one overlooking, I don't know if you can see it clearly, the ocean, not far from the shore. So heading down the mountain now. We're off the rocky, steep mountain trails. We've got down to the shore area, back on the freeway, the blacktop, heading east, I think. Yep, you're heading east. And I'm looking for maybe a spot to camp on the beach somewhere. So, not too sure where. We'll just head east along the along this area here, along the shore, and we'll see what we'll find. Some shade. There is no shade or shelter anywhere in Oman. There's not a tree, there's nothing that you can just stop and say, I think I'll have lunch here. You can have lunch, but under the heat it's 36 degrees at the moment, and this is nearly winter. I'm thinking, my goodness, what would it be like in summer in this place? It's hot, the sun has so much kick in it. You go out there for a while, it's like, oh my goodness, it's so hot. And there's a bit of a wind out there as well, a bit of dust blowing around, so it'll be very pleasant. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Eventually I'll find something, stop and eat in between. We're on the beach, camped at the beach last night. Yeah, just update you on a little bit of a video diary. It's about 6:15 in the morning. Just having my morning car there. The sun is rising, as you can see in the background. Well, let's say yesterday was an interesting day. I came from the mountains, went down to the beach, and then into the dunes, or along the huge desert. The sand dune desert comes right down to the beach. Followed along, and I found this little place, and I thought, gee, that'd be a good spot to camp. But I thought, you know what, I'll go further down the road. It was only 3:30, and I'll go a little bit further down and see what else I can find. Well, yeah, sure, there's going to be something better, and there's heaps of beaches and opportunities to camp. So I drove, and now, most probably an hour and a half later, went down to this particular spot. I thought, yeah, there's I've heard, I read about this place, and it's I thought, yeah, it should be okay. There should be some camping spots along the beach there. Got down there, all it was huge sand flats or salt flats. It was just absolutely nowhere to camp. You're totally exposed. It was nothing. It was just like, I can't camp here. There's no tracks going down to the beach. The beach, the beach was huge. It was humongous. It was just this flat pan of sand and salt all the way to the ocean. I said, no way I can drive on that. That's ridiculous. So as the sun had set, I come across this spot. My trusty little map, GPS that I downloaded. For the sake, I just can't even remember where. I just found it somewhere on the App Store, and it was great because it said, well, go here, go there, and there's a beach. Good luck. And so I found this little spot. Wasn't too sure at first. It was pretty dark. I was kind of saying, oh, there's nothing around. I don't know. The sand is extremely soft, so I've got to be careful where I'm driving. So I found a little spot, just set up the tent, and there we are. Last night, I was tired. I felt like I had an uneventful day. I felt like the day, all I did was just drive. So I'm going to head back up, and I'm going into the sand, into the desert. Now there are decent tracks through there. I most probably will camp in the desert tonight, in the sand dunes, but I'll see how we go. But I do have accommodation in an Arabian tent that I've booked, and before going, it's in the same vicinity, the same area. The Pajero is okay. One thing I don't like about it, especially on sand, is traction control. It just wants to stop the car. I'm looking for the button, or the traction control button, to turn it off. Do you think I can find it? nuts. So it is a bit of a bugger in sand. Not good, that traction control in sand. It just wants to, no, keep going, you must move, it's momentum you need, you silly thing. Anyway, I'll work it out somehow. Just about to embark on the Wiabi Sands Desert driving. The sand's just up there. All the precaution signs have been saying take care. I think about going about 25k in the road. I've just got some advice. Some guys have gone through, some guys that speak English, so yeah, they reckon the road's reasonably okay. But I'll do the tyre pressure thingy, get it down to about 20-ish. I want to get them lower than that for these tyres, but anyway, we'll see how we go. Like Australia, they have corrugations here, and they are woeful. Yeah, it's a bit like taking off for the first time on the Simpson Desert, but it looks so different to the Simpson. The sand dunes are just huge. They're enormous. They're just, yeah. Our sand dunes, sorry guys, but our sand dunes are pretty small compared to these. These are monstrosities. Don't plan on most probably tackling two, especially by myself. I better just check to see if I'm on the right road, guys, because there's a fork that's occurred, and I just want to make sure I'm on the right one. Talk to you soon. Okay, this is where I'm going to set up camp. Just here, put the tent there, and that will be my view. For warm, still 35 degrees. The car will provide some shade, though not much. I've got plenty of water, and yeah, it'd be nice to have a beer. Find a beer out here in Oman itself, not easy. Tonight I'm camped there where that arrow is. I'll give you a perspective of where I am. Guys there. Now, this may not be everybody's idea of a holiday. Hiring a four-wheel drive, camping in the wilderness, living off canned food, 2-minute needles and stale bread, and just water and a bit of fruit. Got a banana or two, a bit of oranges from South Africa, and oranges from Tanzania or somewhere like that. And also eating pistachios from Iran. Quite amazing. And you might think, well, is this everyone's idea of holiday? No, it's not. You might think it's a lot of hard work setting up camp every night. Not really. And eating baked beans and some other God knows what stuff that I've found in the supermarket that I've ate. But you know what? I'll tell you what it is. To be able to do this, I put it down to one word. Liberating. That's what it is, liberating. To be able to just sit here for the last half an hour on top of a sand dune and just look out amongst all the other amazing sand dunes and just sit here in peace. Yeah, liberating. My idea of a holiday. Well, I was going to get into bed. It is a bit sandy and windy at the moment, but I didn't expect my bed to be a part of the desert sands, but it is. Time to clean up. Well, video diary time. Here in the Wadhadi deserts of Oman. Today has been a better day. I felt today that has... I've kind of done what I should have done yesterday, but that's okay. This morning, got up, had a swim in the beach. The water was just magnificent. It was beautiful. Yeah, had a swim, had a wash, felt so much better after it. Got in the car, then head up to the sands here in the desert. And so got here about 2:30, 2:45, perfect. Set up camp and had plenty of time to kind of soak it all up. Go for a walk up the dunes, take a few photos, a lot of photos, see the sunset over the dunes, and just really enjoy this part of the country. Tonight we got a bit of a breeze, and the tent's holding up. Just a lot of sand has blown in because I left the flaps open to keep breeze in and all that sort of stuff like that. So I've had to close the left hand side completely, so stop the sand from getting in because everything's just covered in sand. The tent blew away earlier when I first set up. Good, I've loved the mountains. The mountains have been fantastic. Love the desert. I would love to drive all the way through. Here goes through. There's a track that goes all the way through to the main road near the coast. Oh, I'm so tempted to do all the things. And the main reason why, and I'll say it now, is that tires on the Pajero are crap, and secondly, there's no jack. That's right. I've got a spare tire, but there's no jack. The thing is, I've got to be mindful of where I go, and if I go by myself, and if I do a tire for whatever reason, I'm stuffed. Getting to bed really early. Normally I'm asleep by 8:30 most nights, 8:45, and I'm up just before 6. Until the next one, chat soon. Good morning, Friday morning, Oman, desert. It's just on 6:30, sun's rising, beautiful. Had a very good sleep last night. I must have, because there's a bit of activity happening last night and I wasn't even aware of it. Firstly, just up there was a vehicle parked there when I got this morning, and I woke up to have my and I'm going, when did that vehicle get there? I'm just going, that's really strange. Didn't hear a vehicle at all. Anyway, there's an old manly man laid out on the sand must be in a traditional kind of sleeping bag arrangement. Oh, it looks really elaborate and very nice. And he just rolled it up and packed it through in the car. Said, oh, good morning, and then took off. So then I look around the tent and I notice footprints, dog footprints. I think they are. I'll show you. See? Now, they go all the way to under the car, and under the car you can see, I don't know if you can, but anyway, yeah, he must have had a bit of a nip under the car. Then when he went afterwards, I had no idea. Now I heard none of this, and there's all these other little footprints and little things crawling around here. Last night was a flurry of activity. Where was I? I was fast asleep. I heard nothing. Taken a bit of a drive, 10 k's or so, down where I camped, past the little place that I'll be camping tonight, or staying, accommodation place, desert. And this track here goes all the way through the desert, eventually meet up the coast. And well, this is going to be interesting. What's this? Yep, camel on the back of the ute. Well, one thing I've noticed along this track is that they've got wells scattered all through along the track, which is quite amazing. So let me show you how they use, or the technology, the ancient technology they use to draw the water up from the well. Is that a generator? Yep, there's a battery just there, and it going, and it'll pump out the water from there. As you can see, the hoses go from there all the way to, there's a kind of a place where they stick the water in. And up here, you can see it there, there is a rainwater tank. And if I have a look at the GPS that I'm using, or the map that I'm using, it actually shows you where the wells are. And so as you're coming up, you know there's a well. You can most probably find water. Some of the guys will, I noticed back further up, there was a bunch of guys camping and they were using the water to wash themselves, having a bit of a bath. Friday night, 10th of November, 17. Staying at the Thousand Camps, 1000 Night Camp place here in the Wahia Desert, and it's been a good night here in the thing. It's been peaceful. It's been a chilled out day. Didn't do much. Kind of read for most of the day. Number of tourists here, mainly from France and Germany, mainly, and you never guess what. Met two Australians today who were staying here as well in one of these tents, just a couple of tents down from mine. Anyway, we had dinner together and had a bit of a chat. Two young blokes, and they're working on a sailing ship that's travelling around the world. Amazing, just amazing. Good on them. So they're off to Egypt next. They're sailing from Muscat, and then spending a few days in Oman, and then heading off to Egypt, and after Egypt I think the Greek islands. Gee. Good on them. And tonight having the meal, great meal at the camp here, absolutely great. They had a massive variety of different foods, from Omanian food, traditionally grilled lamb shanks, things, and tasted different to ours, I must say. It was nice, but really chewy and very fatty, and it was good. Mate, they did a great job. Really, really good. And the service from the guys were fantastic. The waiters that were there were mainly from Nepal. So most of the people that work in the hospitality industry here, and any service industry here, are mainly from overseas. They're from India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, but I would say clear majority from what I've seen has been India. So and the Omanis basically own the businesses, and they get these people to work for them. So yeah, but yeah, no, great people, lovely. So it was a good night. Well, today's my final day in Oman, just at the airport. So this is my final video diary update, saying it's been an amazing trip. It's actually sad to see, or it's sad to go in some way, because I'm only just getting to know the place and getting to feel the place and getting a little bit to know what it's all about. It's just an amazing place. I've had an amazing journey, seen some magnificent sights, and met some interesting people, and I must say the Omanis are, or the Omanians, whatever you call them, the Omanis or the Omani Arabs, they are lovely. They've all been polite and nice and courteous and generous and welcoming, and so that's been fantastic. The country is splendid, just amazing. It's hot, even just before 2 weeks before their official winter. Temperatures still in the low to mid 30s. It is hot, and especially on the coast it gets a bit humid. Inland's a lot drier, a lot more bearable, and up in the mountains just beautiful, just lovely temperatures. So yeah, listen, it's just been fantastic. I have enjoyed it immensely, and hope one day to come back and maybe see a bit more. Well, if you've got a four-wheel drive, you know how to use it somehow, prepared to rough it, my goodness, you can land yourself in some amazing places. What can I say? Just very blessed to be able to do what I do at times. Very fortunate. toast. First night camping in Oman.